10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for this fans forum. We're expecting quite a few guests if everyone turns up as expected. Mark's having some problems though, so that's going to be very, very interesting. Dan's in the background waiting. Liam's in the background waiting. And we've got Ed as well. Buzzing to have Ed on. I'll quickly go through the comments and then we'll get the guys in. Welcome to a packed fans forum tonight. Please like and share, subscribe and support the channel. It's free. Join from 99p. Donate using the super chat or get yourself a raffle ticket. So we sold over 500 tickets, I believe. So thank you very much to everyone who's bought a ticket so far for an amazing raffle that's got amazing prizes in it. Well, it's got 3 fantastic prizes in it. And then there's a bit of a 3 dodgiest prizes, I guess. Not the best ones, but, you know, they're still pretty good. I mean, who doesn't want a John Carver signed training top? He was the best manager ever to exist in football, according to himself. And a metal-coated painted sign and £25 of love shop vouchers to go with the amazing Kevin Keegan, Peter Beards, Chris Waddle signed retro top, a fully signed home shirt from 2022-23, and a Miley last season away top, which has arrived. So they're only £1 a ticket. Get them while you can. They'll be drawn on the 4th of August. And I really can't wait to see who wins them, to be honest with you. I'm just buzzing that people are happy with the prizes and joining in. Of course, please adhere to community guidelines, keep comments respectful, and of course, enjoy the show. Even everyone, Les, yep. The on-screen ads in the game, sign off things to come. Oh, let's not talk about shit like that. We are all evening. Blade's in the house. Jules is in the house. How are you doing, Jules? It's been a bit of a manic night tonight, but we're not going to go into stuff like that. Hey, Gary. Hey, Mo. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Ches as well. I hope you're all right, mate. Even everyone. It's going to be jam-packed if everyone gets on. Cheers, bud. Cheers, 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 cheers. Hooray! Co-host.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi. How are we doing?
I'm all right, you?
Yeah, getting there. Bit of a
Trying
wild
a new look today. It's called hair.
I love it.
I couldn't be bothered to put a hat on, so.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Right. Liam.
Hello, guys. How we doing?
Liam.
Great to see that beautiful face again.
Liam is also trying. I was going to say,
hair.
Liam is also trying a new look. It says it's called hair. So there you go. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, Jules, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a lot better, but still getting there. Charles has gone for your look,
There's
guys.
Charles.
He's wearing a hat. He's
That look is out, Charles. That no one wants to see hats anymore.
Hey, it's all right to have a bit of war beer on a Tuesday evening.
There you go.
Yeah,
definitely. It's a shame they've stopped their sponsor with War Flags, isn't it?
Is that right?
Yeah, so if you buy a war beer anymore, they're not donating. Was it 20 pence per drink or something like that, or 50p per drink went to War Flags or something?
That's the whole reason I bought 1,000 cans. I didn't know that.
I love it. And we have one of our favorite friends in the chat who's joining us tonight. And Ed, how are we doing, Ed?
Oh, Ed.
Oh, Ed, you're on
mute, mate.
You're on mute, pal. There's a good start to his Through Black and White Eyes career.
There he is.
We've all been there. Oh, look at that dog.
Nice.
Nope, you're still on mute, Ed. You need to unmute yourself, pal.
Or go in settings and make sure that whatever mic you're using is the active one.
Let's see if I can unmute him. No, I can't unmute him, unfortunately. The mic isn't connected, it says. There we go, Ed.
Hi, guys. Sorry about that.
Hey!
Much better. There you go.
Right. Sparky's tried to join, but it says device not connected. He's having some problems where he's using Chrome, and Chrome has blocked his camera and mic.
Oh,
and I haven't got a clue how to sort anything like that. He asked me how to sort it. I was like, mate, turn it off, turn it back on again.
fair enough.
That's as good as my advice gets when it comes to technology, I'm afraid. And I used to have to handle big machinery and stuff like that, but there you go. Right, has everyone got their...
You make chocolate now, so it's all good.
No, exactly.
Yep.
It's all done by big machinery as well, though. I just do the easy bit of it. Has everyone got their bit of paper?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Charles, Ed, yes. Yes. Obviously, Sparky can join in when he finally gets here. Right, we're going to go and start off with a nice and easy one. Well, I think it's nice and easy, but it's going to be a great topic. What I ask from all of you is when leave your bit of paper up so I know who's spoken, who hasn't, and what you've actually said. When someone's speaking, give them the courtesy. If you've got questions, wait until it comes around to your time. And obviously, different people are going to have different opinions, and it's all about accepting that opinion, even if you don't agree with it. Yeah, we just got to be polite, which, I mean, I'm looking at this panel, and I know that's going to happen anyway. Right, so the first question, do you agree or disagree? Would you like to see Amanda and Mehrdad back at NUFC controlling transfers? I've never seen Liam move so fast. Ed, do you agree or disagree? Keep your bit of paper up, please, guys, so I know who's done what. That's it. Right. Liam, I'll come to you first because you were so quick.
The mint.
I love it.
I just feel like they had they actually done stuff. And they were mint.
I love
keep
it.
the short,
they were mint.
Like.
They were mint. Just get them back in. Every time Amanda went on holiday, leave Mehrdad with the checkbook. Things happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sparky's made it.
Yes, hello guys.
There he is.
Man. I've had to install a brand new internet browser and everything, man. What it's for, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, guys. But let's get this party started. Hope everyone's doing well.
I'll quickly just go over the rules for you, Sparky. So obviously, bit of paper up. When someone's speaking, give them.
I'm ready.
Brilliant. When someone speaks, give them the courtesy. Everyone's opinion might be different, but we've got to respect everyone's opinion. And if you've got any questions about someone's opinion, wait till it's your turn and then we can discuss it. I am the host. I rule. So the first question. So the first question was, do you would go, whoa, what is going on there?
Yes, I'm loving
Do that again.
No way. That is class. I am well jealous.
Shout out to Superfan Dan.
I need to know how to do it.
Sparky.
Brilliant. Right, so the first question is, would you like to see Amanda and Mehrdad back at NUFC? Everyone else said agree. Do you agree, Sparky? You do agree. Oh, I think Gary's decided to turn up now. Yes, here he is, late as ever.
Hello, boys.
Gaz.
Have you got your bit of paper, Gaz? Agreed, disagree?
No, I have. You know me, I'm disorganised, man.
I knew he'd be the only one, you know that. The only one, Gaz.
Well,
Terrible.
the G and B if I agree. So there you go. And I've got G in the book. So that can be me agree. And if I don't put out Rob, I disagree.
I like
But
this style
Gaz,
of improvisation.
did you see this, Gaz?
Look at that.
Wow.
Good evening. I thought John's not in the background. Where is he? Because every time he's on the show, he's always in a discotheque. Like.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Right. The first question, you don't need to answer it, Gary, because we did a whole show on it. It's all about bringing Ahmad. I'm mixing them together. Ahmad, that's what we're going to call them.
Yep.
From now on, is a do. Amanda and Mehrdad back. Liam said, hell yes. Charles?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, she's just simply a deal maker, isn't she? I mean, she's brilliant. She could sell the club, get it. I mean, that's her core business. That's what she does, make deals, and there's nobody better. And also, to be honest, apart from that, just the communication with the fans was just been missing that since she's gone.
That is the big one for me. It's the lack of communication. To be fair, I agree with that side of things. Ed?
Yeah, that's my feeling exactly. They have a good public face. They seem to appeal to players. They obviously did a good job while they were here.
Love it. Dan?
100% agree. With Charles was the one that brought it up. The communication between the clubs, I mean, between the club and the media has been chalk and cheese since they left. It's when Mehrdad and Amanda were at the club, we constantly saw their faces in the media. We constantly knew what was going on, even if it was a smoke screen, and bringing in players that we weren't even looking at. They were good at least communicating with the public. We've heard next to nothing since then. Nothing from Jamie Rubin, nothing from even a certified or qualified, spokesperson. I struggle and almost don't want to say it, but we heard more from Penfield than we have now.
He was always spelling the bad shite, wasn't he?
Exactly. So I mean, my feelings are, and judging by what we've seen, throughout the takeover, and then again in the Newcastle documentary, they wear their emotions on their sleeves, and they are hard drivers of a bargain and making deals. So I think we're missing that in the boardroom right now.
I mean, they haven't filled the void even one bit. I mean, they haven't even attempted to do it. I mean, it's just completely vanished.
Yep.
I agree with that. Sparky, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, to be totally honest, I just want to follow on from what Superfan Dan was saying there. So, just recently with the season being over, I've just actually watched We Are Newcastle United episode 1 to 4 all over again. And you could just see during for example, the Anthony Gordon saga, when they were on the phone and they were like, "Oh, hello, Anthony, we're going to welcome you with open arms," and stuff like that. There has been a missing link, you know what I mean? So and it's just been we miss them basically. And plus, Amanda Staveley, not forgetting she created Newcastle United women's football as well. So she's left that legacy already. So I think she should do a Keegan and do a comeback.
Yep.
I love it. So she didn't really create it. What she did is she bought it back, didn't she? So the women's team were playing under the name of Newcastle United, but they weren't part of the franchise, and that's what she did. She obviously brought
but you also created the actual professional side of things by giving the girls full-time contract and stuff like that. So for me, that was absolutely unbelievable.
It was massive, and how much could that be worth for us if we sell it? Which is obviously one of the big.
About 300 million, Baz, I reckon.
Well,
I like it.
Everyone keeps on saying to me, you can't put the same value as Chelsea does, but Chelsea's women's team isn't worth 300 million. It's worth probably 40 million commercially right now, but it's putting the value on what it would be in 5-10 years. And there's no reason why we can't say 300 million, because we could just show them a graph about how it goes up and just say, right, this is where we're going to be in 10 years' time. We're going to be worth 300 million and prove us wrong.
Might as well call it 5.
Yeah, might as well call it 500 million. Why not? So there we go. Oh, he's got no temperature. That's good. Sorry, keeping up to date with what's going on. So the next question. This is a bit more touchy, this one. We have touched on this, Gary, but I've touched on it a lot with Martin. Selling Tino for 60 million would be good business. Agree or disagree? What have we got? Disagree. Ed? Is that it? Aye. Ooh, we've got one eye, and everyone else's disagree. So let's start with the eye. Ed, why do you agree with selling Tino for 60 million would be good business?
Yeah, so I just want to play devil's advocate, Barry, because effectively it's not really just Tino that we do have to adjust to the fact we're going to lose somebody. I think personally, I'm not going to tell you who I think we should lose, but we just need to get accustomed to the fact that that's the big leagues. We just have to make some tough decisions. And you said business, so from a business perspective, if it's if it's there, that's pretty good.
You're right, Ed. I'm getting myself mentally prepared for losing Willett. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't tempt me.
I think we would all sell Willock for 25 million, to be fair. Gaz, you disagree? Why do you disagree?
Because I wouldn't trust these buggers to replace.
Well,
Right now, I wouldn't trust them to replace him. It's not the only reason. I think you're getting rid of a player who can play left back and right back as well. And I think Tino is absolute quality, and there's 3 or 4 players I would get rid of before I would get rid of him. I just think it would look bad if we got rid of one of our best youngsters as well. That Eddie Howe bought Paul Mitchell to get. And I just think it would be a bad look. And they're coming off the back of a really good tournament as well for England.
Yeah.
Really good. Just won it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been putting the team of the tournament as well. And I'm always like, if a player can play multiple positions, it's a big no for me. I mean, I love Trippier, but he's coming up to 35 now as well. So we've only got Lewis Hall at left back because Matt Target, I'm better than him. So it's like, well, for me, we can't afford to get rid of him. Not yet, anyway. I'd get rid of somebody if we've got a decent backup. I don't want to see him go, but Gordon, for example, we've got Harvey Barnes. That's the way I look at it. So, but just my opinion. Like.
This question's come out because obviously Man City are very interested in Tino. And I'm not going down the Isaac Liverpool crap because we all know Isaac's not leaving. But that deal for me makes business sense, you see. So that's why it's a good question and why it gets a good answer from everyone. Sparky, your thoughts on, is it good business? So forget about the playing side of things. Would it make good business sense?
For me, no. And hence the reason being, I'm just seeing Tino have an absolutely fantastic under 21 Euros. I can't stress that enough, under 21. So like for me, selling him for 60 million, where he is like a future captain, he's like in and around the youth squad already. What we're building passionately, and we're building absolutely, by the way, with the youths that are coming in. So there's a future team for generations to come. For me, it's bad business because at the end of the day, there's no one out in the market to replace him. And when you can slot him in at right back and he's absolutely mint, and then you bring him in for Lewis Hall and he does even better. Irreplaceable.
It's a good shout. Dan?
100%. I agree with all that's been said thus far. If Paul Mitchell thought we overpaid for Livramento when we brought him in, the fact that Man City would want him and they would be willing to pay 60 million, my feelings are 60 million is not enough. The flexibility he gives us, that Gaz and Sparky mentions, his ability with the under 21 team, we're looking at a future England international. I mean, I know he's been capped once already, but I mean, we're talking about stalwart there. And with both he and Lewis Hall, we've got our fullback situation sewn up for the next decade. As my feelings. So it's just my feelings are he has too much in. He's got too many arrows in his quiver for us to even consider getting rid of him. He's too valuable to us for the project that we're building. Over.
Good answer, Liam.
Bad business because he's a class bit of young talent, and I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. To be honest, like people have said, obviously left and right back. He's left. You know what I mean? He's good in either, and it's you don't see that in every player. So I think there's nobody else to replace him, and he's class. So it would be bad business.
Yeah, good answer, Charles.
I'll be honest, it might be a bit controversial, but I'm not that convinced he's that good at a right back. I think he's better at left. That's what I've seen. I think I prefer Trippier on the right, and just think he creates more defense better. I think it's 75. I think you got a conversation.
Well, 75 would make him the record-breaking, most expensive fullback in the world, wouldn't he? Because Hakimi is the
60 is not going to move the needle for us, is it? We paid quite a lot for him.
Who would you swap him with?
You know,
we
70
paid
plus.
27 million we paid for him.
Yeah, it's
rising to 31.
Yeah. But then you doubled it.
And supposedly we overpaid for him. Bullshit.
But I'm still not convinced him at right back. I just not
one at a time, guys. One at a time, please.
Sorry. Yeah.
Charles?
Yeah, I'm just not convinced at right back. He hasn't done enough for me to think he's absolutely amazing at right back. But at left back, he was a revelation. Yeah. And we've already got a fantastic left back. So
which is tough one. Sparky?
No, I've already said my bit. I'm just like I was just saying, like he was an absolute. Like I just think he was an absolute steal, grabbing him from like obviously Southampton, especially when who had to fight off to get him as well. So like for me, like keep him and like just like Super Dan was saying, we've got Louis Hall, Tino. There's your foundations on the wings for the next decade.
Yeah. No, it's all very good points. I'm not allowed to have my say because it's your show, guys. I understand where you're all coming from. I really do. Right. This one's obviously been in the press recently, and again, because of another player who's excelled at the under-21s. He's been an absolute revelation from the 21s, to be fair. But Harvey Elliott, would he be a good signing? Or Harvey Elliott would be a good signing?
At the right price,
There's no price on it. It just the question is, would Harvey Elliott would make a great signing? Basically, does everyone agree there? Sorry, I didn't see what yours was. I think Ed still you agree. Yeah. Why do you think you'd make a good signing, Ed? We'll start with you.
You're asking me, Barry? Basil?
Yeah, please.
So I've seen Harvey Elliott play at Liverpool. I've just instantly enamored. He reminds me a little bit of Wayne Rooney. I've told you that before. I'm concerned that injury, might be recurring, and I want to offer to you guys. Obviously, we've had injury-prone issues in the past, so the reality of having more backups is really imperative to me. That's why I think considering business decisions is really important. Yep.
Very interesting, Gaz.
Yeah, I would have him. I think he's had a great tournament. I think he'd fit in our team like a glove. I think he's clever. I think he's the type of player who could help us beat Fulham at home. Them type of games that we lost last season. But the deal's not happening. Personally. No, it's not happening.
It's just a question. It's just a question. Would you make a great signing? So,
yeah, well, yeah, he would.
We're not here to give information. We're not here to be in the know and all that sort of stuff. We're just
it's not
what's going on.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
This is just what I think. But I think he'd be a good signing. From what I can gather, according to Ornstein, it's 40 million.
And then
if he with the sell-on clause. Without a sell-on clause, it's 50 plus. So the way the market is right now, you've got to say I think that's good money. I think it's definitely a deal that I would look at. You can play on the right, you can play in midfield. I just think he's 22 years of age. He's playing for one of the best teams around, but obviously hard to get in that side. And I can see him starting in our midfield next to Bruno and Tonali, no problem if Joe Linton or vice versa. So, but yeah, I think it'd be a good sign.
It's an interesting shout. Liam?
Pretty much following on from what Gary said, he's a good player. He's got his head switched on, and I think he would play in multiple positions. He's good to have because he wouldn't be set in stone to play one position. He could step in for other people as well. I just think he's a real team player, and I think he's had an outstanding tournament.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think he would suit her. Yeah.
It's quite funny how since he's had an outstanding tournament, it's just like, let's link him to Newcastle. But there we go.
But he's good for his club as well. You know,
Yes,
so
he is. Yeah, he is.
He is a good player.
He does get thrown on, didn't he? He got thrown on in like the last 20 minutes and things like that. He obviously wants to progress his career, wants to play from the start. But then when you've got Salah in front of you, that is very, very difficult.
Yeah, it is.
It's not
He'll get
shifting
played at us as well.
Yeah. Charles?
No, man. He's a worky ticket. I think worky ticket is the expression. Yeah. I mean, he'd be a great squad player. Absolutely fantastic. If you get him for a reasonable price. I know we shouldn't say. I don't think we might sell him, but why would they sell him? I mean, bit weird. But I'm very happy that we're getting some 16-year-olds from Liverpool. That's really a bit of karma. Finally, we're going to get somebody from these guys.
They're not very happy about that one. Like.
Well.
No, they're not happy about it.
Which is all the better.
I did.
But no, he would be good. Good squad player, absolutely.
I did tweet out saying you tried to take Isak from us. We said no, fuck that, but we'll take your best player. Damn right we will.
Yeah.
We've lost Ed. Dan?
I would. The only concern I have is one. It's been pointed out his injury record is a concern, but we've taken that flex before, as we just mentioned about Tino and everybody. My biggest concern would be his expectations. Is if he was to come from Liverpool, where he's going to be hard pressed to get minutes because of the ongoing form of a Mo Salah. If he were to come to Newcastle, he would be expecting to play. I think squad player would be the least of his concerns. I think he would be looking to be a starter, and I don't know if he's the starter that we're looking for.
That's a fair point. Sparky?
Yeah, so I mean, to be totally honest, with Liverpool, he did have a good season as well last season as well. If I can remember, I think he had quite a lot of cup action along with Champions League action. I'm sure he scored a couple of Champions League goals along the way. He had a cracking tournament at right wing as well, so he did, cutting in and scoring a couple of goals and stuff like that as well. But for me, he wouldn't be the top of my list. Like for me, I've got everything I'll cross with Gan Allen for Elanga because we've got the chemistry there. He plays on the right wing. He's got the relationships with like Isak, which could prompt him to stay longer and things like that. So for me, I'll be looking at Elanga as the top guy, but would have him as a squad player. I think under ready, he could only get better as well. So, and he's already got a good right wing connection with Tino, like we've just seen in the European Under-21 Championships as well. So, I would have him on the list.
Yeah, I think that's why he's on the list, because obviously Tino was behind him and he really complimented him, didn't he?
So can I just add? I think he adds something that we don't have. You know, that sort of player that breaks between the lines. That pass that he did at the League Cup final. I mean, what was a beauty!
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, if he can do that for us.
Yeah.
Well, and if we're looking for a left footer that comes in from the right, well, he'd be perfect for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Someone's mentioned Tyler Diblin. Obviously, we haven't got him in my questions tonight, but I will point this out. And we did say this months ago when Ian gave us some information. He said he scored absolutely highly on every single scouting report from Newcastle, and we are very interested in him. Whether we go in for him and he plays on a right wing for us, I don't know. That's for a different type of show. But we are very interested in Tyler Diblin because of how good his ratings were when the scouts saw him. Yes. Okay. I missed that. Right.
We were NFI to the wedding.
Well, you know, I got invited, but I had to turn it down because I had to make some chocolate, didn't I? You know what I mean? The 34N was needed for the Kit Kats, I'm afraid.
was that the tweed suit that he was modeling in the kit launch video? Was that what he was going to wear to the wedding? Was that suit and the new top?
Oh, that would look smart. I love the new top, by the way. But anyway, different story again. I'm just going to quickly do our little shout outs to Diacro. Code Baz
Hey, I know that shirt.
20% off. Yeah, he's wearing it right now. There we go.
Come on.
20% off using code Baz20. Link is in the description. Sparky.
There he is.
Yes. Hello, guys. First of all, it is actually a privilege to be part of the Through Black and White Eyes team and all that. So thanks for accepting this, guys. But as I say, it's quite a privilege. Like for me, I'm actually looking forward to the 3rd of August with the charity football match coming in. So just remember, guys, Barry can tell you all about where to get your tickets. It's a daft quiz. Get amongst it. Get yourself a ticket. Get yourself in a raffle. Plenty of prizes up for grabs and that as well. And I just want to give, obviously, once again, super fan Dan and Big Baz a huge, massive shout out. Much love from the Geordieland Experience.
Awesome. So if anyone who's watching abroad, who's coming over to Newcastle and you want to find out what the North East is all about, speak to them. They'll tell you. Someone keeps jumping in and out. I don't know what's going on. Right. Anyway, thank you to Henderson's Taxis as well in Stanley, who has sponsored our amazing football game, which is going to be on the 3rd of August, as you mentioned there. Peter Beardsley is on my team. Peter Beardsley, the legend. We've got loads going on. Kids football matches, soft play area, free of charge to use. The men's game kicks off later on. Presentation, the raffle. There's also free face painting for the kids. There's food available. There's drinks available to buy from Newcastle Benfield Football Club, and thank you for them for putting this on again for the 2nd year running. And all the money will be donated to Stanley Deaf Club. They're getting 75% of it, and 25% is going to the Lily Foundation, which helps families who have got rare diseases with their children and things like that.
You know what to do? Get yourself down on that weekend and get to Port the massive course. Come on, yes.
It's on a Sunday. It's going to be fun. We have a raffle that is live. They're all the prize at the moment. £1 a ticket. If you want one, just message me and I'll send you a number. You've just got to send me a chunk and that's it. You're done. And there's the top, by the way. I still love it. Right. I digress. This is a fun one because we have also discussed this on previous shows, but we've got different guests. So I want to know everyone's thoughts on this. Dan Burn deserves to be player of the season. We've got to disagree. We've got an aye. We've got to disagree. Gaz, you agree? Because you said it.
No, I disagree.
Right, brilliant. Yeah. So we've got a mixed panel now at last. I found a question you all don't agree on. I'll start with Dan.
1, we share a name. 2, no, I said starting from October, he was my player of the season simply because he got the job done. He did what he was supposed to do. And he's dependable. For me, he's the local lad that's come good. I thought performance-wise, we could talk about Isak all day long and goals. We could talk about Murphy with goals and assists. We could talk about Tonali just being a level above everybody else. But for me, Dan Burn was player of the season simply because he came in to do a job and he did that job and he did it well the entire season. Over.
Oh, love it. Gaz, you disagree?
Yes. Not because I don't think Burn's been superb. Because I do.
Yeah.
He was definitely in my top 3, possibly second. But I think I said this a few weeks ago. Mine was Isak. I mean, you're talking about without Isak's goals this season, we wouldn't have won a trophy. We wouldn't have qualified for the Champions League. He's went from a top-class striker to a world-class striker that people are now calling the best around in Europe. He's constantly on everybody's lips and round the country talking about him. He's up for player of the season in the Premier League. And yeah, I think he dropped off a bit at the end, but that was because he was carrying an injury. Everybody knew that. Even the press named it as well. And this season, at times, he was unplayable. And as much as I think Dan Burn had a great season, I think without Isak, we just wouldn't have done what we did. And he's not going to win Player of the Year in this country because of Salah, but without Salah, he would have won Player of the Year. And I just think he's been absolutely phenomenal. And
Shout.
what more can I say about it? Just 150 plus million pound striker right now that everybody wants. There you go.
I'm going to play noughts and crosses and get 3 down the line, Charles. Charles?
Oh, sorry, I missed that. No, I mean, simply, it has to be exact. It's the only world-class player we've got. A really, really world-class player we've got. I think I was listening to the Geordie journals. I know they're quite controversial, but I think they're talking some sense. And they were saying, you know, could you replace Byrne? Could he be out the team? Yeah, you could. Isaac, absolutely not.
That's true.
So, and I think ahead of Byrne is also Tonali as well. I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal. Byrne, what a story! I mean, it's wonderful. He's one of our own, of course, and everything, and you know all the nostalgia. It's from Blythe and all that, and he's been fantastic. But yeah, it's Isaac first and Tonali second, and probably Byrne third. And I think had Lewis Hall not got injured, he would have been third.
What about Bruno?
Yep. No, I think Bruno had a good season, but I don't think he was as good as Tonali or Lewis. I think Lewis Hall was on the verge of being right up there for Player of the Season until he got injured. And I think Dan Byrne was he was up for Player of the Year around that time, but more people were saying Lewis Hall was the best defender around that time. So this is why I picked Isak. I mean, I know I've had my say and all that, but he's right. Without you take Byrne out, and I feel like I'm slating Byrne. Byrne's been superb. But you take Byrne out, you put Botman in, you put somebody else in. You take Isak out, you end up with Callum Wilson up there.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, wow. You know, it's like one of those. And also, Jacob Murphy deserves a mention now because he should have. But anyway, I'll let everybody else talk.
Some good shouts as always. Liam?
It's a hard one because obviously Byrne has had a phenomenal season. Absolutely brilliant. Not knocking that at all. Obviously, Isaac has had a phenomenal season. But the man for me that's had that midfield dominant is Tonali. And I think he's had a fantastic season. And I think for me, he's my player of the season.
Fair enough. Sparky?
I mean, I know that I did see Dan Byrne at the start of this whole thing, but and agreed with it. But after hearing everybody's like opinions and views and things like that, I'm just like thinking, do you know what it is? That there's been so many good standout players this year. I mean, at the start we were proper rocky, but after watching the podcast that Dan Byrne's just recently featured on and what he does off the scenes and behind, and he encourages everybody on, and he's got that togetherness, and he's like, he rang the gaffer and stuff like that. You're just like, for his character and what he's done off the pitch and that Wembley goal, and just obviously being an absolute rock at the back. I'll give it to Dan Byrne still. I'm still going to agree, but obviously, Tonali, he was look at Tonali's heat map, absolutely off the charts. You know what I mean? Yeah. Once again, Murphy for his goals and assists, Isaac absolutely screaming goals left, right, and centre, ripping defences, horses, and all that. There's just been so many individuals this season that stood out, so it is a tough one, but I will stick with Dan Byrne for what he does on and off the pitch.
You know what? I think we're getting confused between player of the season and personality of the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Byrne's had a great season as well, though, to be fair. It's very hard not to put him in the mix.
He's definitely had a good season. I get where Liam's coming from as well, because when Sandro Tonali came into that team, that's when Newcastle started playing well. Before that, they weren't playing consistently well, and we had a dodgy start. We got some decent results, and Tonali was my second pick.
Well, Tonali was in the start, and then he disappeared. Then he came back, and then things really started to rocket, didn't they?
But I just wanted to point that out about Tonali because he was superb as well. But I don't think anybody's wrong. I think everybody's opinion on it was player of the season. I think anybody could have won it. It was just an opinion. As long as somebody didn't pick Joe Willock or somebody like that, then fair enough. But it's like the individual performances this season have been superb.
Yeah, I agree. Ed?
Yeah, I think enough was said on that. I might add honorable mention to Joe Linton or anybody who is able to basically sustain a performance year after year at this point. It's more than a 1 year thing for me, if you think about it. But I do love Dan Burn. He took the opportunity, made the most of it. Like, he took the game by the scruff of the neck, like you like to say, Barry, because he made it look like that's something they practiced. It reflected well on the coaches. He made that header look second nature, and I tell you, man, like, that was just remarkable to watch. So like I said, Joe Linton, maybe honorable mention, simply because we've seen what we lack when he's not on the field. So that's all I would add.
Yeah, it's a very good point, that. Ooh, I like that one. That was a good question, that one, in the end. And I thought that was going to be the easy one. Right, this will probably be an easy one. Isaac should take the number 9 shirt. Right.
That means agree for me.
Right, I've got to agree there. Ed? Oh, to move it back a bit. I can't see that, Ed. You put it too close to the screen. No? Is that no? Right. We've got 2 disagree. We've got 4 agrees. I'll start with the agree, Sparky. Do you disagree?
Yeah, so to be totally honest, mate, like Isaac 14, that's like iconic. AI 14, it's iconic. Like, you look like he adores Thierry Henry, who also was the number 14 as well. And for me, I just think he scores goals in that shirt, so keep him in that shirt. Divin jinx him with a number 9, I'm telling you. Can't get a number 9, can't get a striker. Keep Isaac sticking the number 4.
Oh, we're losing him a bit.
I don't think Isaac's happy with his comment.
Yeah, I love it. You went a bit funny, Sparky. I think your internet's played up again. Liam, what's your thoughts on it?
Plain and simple. I just think he deserves it.
Go on, Liam.
I'm saying plain and simple. I just think he deserves it.
He definitely 100% deserves it. I mean, it's iconic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would jinx him or not?
Nah, not at all.
He's still good.
Too good. I like it. Ed?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to think about for me when you think about the number 9 and all those things. It's just too early for me to say. Sorry. I'll just leave it at that. I think the comparisons, and the criticism that he's, gotten is just makes me wonder. He's not quite there yet. I think he's almost there for the 9.
It's a tough one because the 9 is a very, very iconic shirt. Charles?
To be honest, I don't think it matters. The 14 winds up the Arsenal fans.
That's true.
And number 9, yeah, maybe have Sesko there and play him alongside him. Could be all right.
I would love Sesko.
Yeah.
I would love Sesko. People don't. Oh, honestly, the amount of abuse that I got. You can't play Sesko and Isaac together. It's like, why not? Eddie Howe plays 4-3-3. Eddie Howe also changes the system every now and again, and he wants to develop his team and change to a different system.
Isaac's a lot more than a number 9, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Hi.
He does. I mean, to be honest with you, if you want to wind up the Arsenal fans, just show that Anthony Gordon goal in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup at the Emirates when he's holding the flag. That was beautiful. Gaz?
Simple for me. Give him the number 9. I can't see Newcastle going into a season leaving the number 9 without anybody wearing it. Just didn't seem right to me. It's an iconic number that Shearer, Ferdinand, Andy Cole, you name it, wore it. Jackie Milburn as well, I think. So it's, I mean, who's going to put it on? Like, Asula's not going to get it. I cannot see them buying somebody big enough right now to wear it. So for me, there's only one man who can put that shirt on. Then,
would you leave it blank if he didn't accept it?
If he didn't accept it, yeah. because I want somebody who's good enough to wear it. If Liam Delap had come, I have a feeling he might have took it. But obviously that's just ifs and buts. But I wouldn't give it to some random person. Callum Wilson he fell off a cliff near the end, but he did wear that shirt, and he did a lot under that shirt.
He gave it service. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and you've got to give that number service because everybody else has before, and Isak will give it. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Plus, it will really piss the Liverpool fans off, which will make my day if we announce he's got the number 9 shirt, because they're absolutely convinced that he should be wearing a Liverpool shirt right now anyway. Right. So it would. But if nobody comes in and he says, no, I like the 14, then that's up to him. But I can't see them giving it to anybody right now. I don't think anybody. Anybody else at that club.
I agree with that, Gary, as well. It's just a good question with opinions on it. Dan?
No, 100%. That was where I was going to go, and everybody's taking my words from me. I think maturity-wise, I think stability-wise, I think performance-wise, he's ticked all the boxes for me to become a legendary number 9. But he's already a legendary number 14, and if he wants to wear the number 14, he stays number 14. If he asks for the 9, then you fucking give it to him. But if he's sitting there going, 14 is the shirt I wear, 14 is the shirt I want to wear, he wears 9 for Sweden, does he not?
I'm not sure.
Or does he wear 11?
I think he wears 14 for Sweden.
Yeah. So my feelings are.
I think Kavakarez might wear the number 9. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. Exactly. And even he doesn't play in the number 9 role for them because Kulusevski does.
Right. So
I'm
just saying, I agree with some of the mentions in the comments. Let Alexander Isak wear whatever number Alexander Isak wants to wear.
Yeah.
If he's going to be our highest paid player, if he's going to be arguably our talisman for the next 2, 3, 4 seasons, with fingers crossed. Let him wear what he wants.
Definitely. Plus, David Ginola was number 14, wasn't he? And he was a proper legend. So let him live Ginola's legendary years.
Yeah, but Sparky,
I think Ginola scored like 6 goals ever.
Right. Exactly. And I was good. And Charles, I was going to say Ketsbaya won the number 14. Charles Nzogby, Nzogby wore number 14. Loic Remy wore number 14. I mean, there have been lots of players that wear number 14, but the obvious comparisons between Alexander Isak and a superstar wearing 14 is Thierry Henry. So, I mean, again, Isak wears the number Isak wants to wear. That's my feeling.
I mean, Dan's right. I mean, Bruno's not going to change his number, is he? It's like, it's not going to happen. Some players want to keep a number, and if Isak wants to keep the 14, then that's absolutely fine. But he should definitely be offered it.
Yeah.
The number 9, without a doubt.
I think should come with the contract. If he's going to sign a new contract to be the highest paid player at the club, if he says, and I want the number 9 jersey, don't fucking give it to him.
I think he'd take it. I do.
I think he'll take it.
I think he was asked a question about the number 9 shirt, but Callum Wilson still owned it. And I think he was being respectful to Callum Wilson, saying, I wouldn't take the number 9 shirt, I'd keep the number 14 because someone is already wearing it. And I don't think he wanted to be that person to say, I'm taking that shirt off him. Unlike Shearer, when Les Ferdinand had it, I'm having it. Shearer was allowed to do that.
I think
Shearer it was different.
If the Geordie understands what it means to the Geordies, but
100%.
For Isak, I think this 14 is becoming quite iconic. The 14 for him.
For him, it
change will feel a bit weird, actually.
Yeah, potentially. Right. 2 more questions. We've got one from them. We've got one from the chat that I want to go back to because it's a good question and it'll bring a good debate out of it. But this one, I think this one's going to be pretty much an agree around the whole room. But I want to highlight it again because I believe it should be happening. Would you be happy with a name change of the stadium and training ground if it meant more revenue? So changing St James's Park to a sponsored name, changing the training ground to a sponsored name to provide more revenue for the first team. Bearing in mind, we're going to be moving stadium anyway. So why not change it now? Ooh, go on, Spock. You're on the fence.
Yeah, I mean, to be totally honest, I'm game as a badger. I'm proper game as a badger for having like a training ground academy sponsorship, because like there every day, the training, X, Y, and Z, there's plenty of fans waiting for them to leave and it gets a lot of exposure. So why not get a sponsor slapped up on there? But look what happened when we changed the name of the Sports Direct Arena a few years ago, man. There was an absolute uproar for me. It can't be nothing else but St. James's Park. That's what it is. It's the cathedral on the hill.
Different times, though,
that was because we weren't getting any money for it.
Yeah.
That's the exact reason. If the fans thought we were getting some money for it at the time, no problem. But the fact that we got absolutely zero money for it, that was what would piss people off at the time.
Yeah. It was Mike Ashley earning more money for his pocket. So
Yeah.
the question is, for more revenue for signing players, would you accept the name change? Now, I think a lot of fans would, but again, there's still people who wouldn't. And again, it's all about opinions. Charles, you carry on.
No, I mean, listen, I call it stadium, my stadium face, as far as I'm concerned. If it brings us a lot of money, I really don't care. It won't change anything for us. I mean, it'll be St. James's Park. Will it be St. James's Park? Are we even going to be even playing in St. James's Park? Who knows? You know, it might not be, you know, it might be Leeds Park, whatever. I don't think it makes a great deal of difference. We just need more money. We need to do it by every means possible. Training ground, training kit, more sponsors. We need a tractor sponsor. We need a toilet sponsor, whatever. You know, we just need to bring it in. You know, I don't really care.
I can just imagine now you're pissing into the pot, and it's you are pissing into the pot, sponsored by Monster.
The only sponsor I would put in the back of a urinal is Sports Direct.
That's a bog, that one, Dan. The bog is sponsored by Sports Direct.
Could you imagine? Ed, what's your thoughts? You said disagree.
Bog roll with Sports Direct. We call it shit tickets. So there you go.
I love it. Go on, Ed.
Yeah, so conservative side of me and the change side of me and the generations of, you know, players and stars that have gone.
Oh, no. His Wi-Fi's gone with the stars. Sorry, we missed the last bit there, Ed. We got to the generation of stars and then you cut out. Nope.
Yeah, hang on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We can hear you now. Whatever you've done, leave it there.
You can. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it sounds like I was cutting out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to finish off what you were saying?
Yeah. Look, that discussion comes up a lot, doesn't it, Dan, in our country?
Nope. Cut off again.
We lost
Wi-Fi's
him
a
again.
pain. That's
Yeah,
what
sorry
happens when
about
you're
that.
in America. Trump is blocking the
Skip me till
connection.
it's-
We'll come to Dan.
Of course, having supported the club for as long as I have, the romantic in me wants it to remain St. James's Park. But if we're going to build a new stadium, and it's going to be named something else, we might as well get used to the name change as long as it's bringing in revenue. You never turn down revenue. The fact of the matter is, we need the money, or else we're in this PSR bullshit year after year after year after year. So, while the romantic in me wants it to be St. James's Park indefinitely, if it's going to be, you know, Monster Stadium at St. James's Park, or St. James's Park brought to you by Monster, or, you know, whatever it has to be, as long as the funds are coming in. You know, the fact of the matter is we have to keep up with the Joneses. And right now, the Joneses are making hand over fist because they're selling their naming rights to everything. And if we don't consider it, we're just going to be holding ourselves back.
I think that was the workaround, wasn't it? I think a lot of fans were happy as long as it had at St James's Park in it somewhere. But again, that makes it a very long name, doesn't it? And it all depends on the sponsors themselves. Liam?
Well, Dan's pretty much hit the nail on the head what I was going to say, but initially I said agree, but initially I'd start with saying no, because you know what I was like in terms of the badge change and stuff like that. I don't like change, but with PSR and, you know, if it means we've got more money, then I'm all for it in the long run.
But Liam, even the badge change, I think, you know, I'm a bit older. I know I look very young.
You do, man. You do.
Take your hat off, Charles.
But I started supporting Newcastle when they had the castle and the magpie, you know. And I think that's an iconic badge. I think, why the hell did they ever change from that?
I think that
was only one
before its time.
Yeah.
I think it was before its time as well, wasn't it? That badge was literally, it should have been made 40 years later.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, and I'd agree with Dan as well. 2 magpies should be on it. That's why when everyone was doing their mock-ups and what we should do this badge, do that badge, I saw 1 magpie, and all I kept replying to them, 2 magpies. It's got to be 2 magpies. Why? Watch Alan Shearer's video when he was at the cup final, and what was on his table? 2 magpies. You need 2 magpies in the badge. It's as simple as that.
Because it's 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy as well. So you didn't want to have sorrow.
Yep.
And that's why we never won anything while wearing that badge.
Don't put fucking 3 or 4 in there, whatever you do.
Exactly.
What was it? 3 for a boy, 4 for a girl?
3.
Something like that.
No, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy.
Yeah, something like that.
The rhyming.
Ed, are you back in the room?
I think Ed's sound is muted. He can't hear us.
No,
I
go
think
ahead.
Ed's got a.
Hello.
Yeah.
I think you've got a 30-second delay. I think that's what the problem is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I was. So we're still addressing the issue of the name change, or is this another question? Yeah. Well, let me also pause and say it's nice to meet you, Sparky, and everybody in person. Bazza does an amazing job. Like, you know, it makes us all feel like professional fans, doesn't it? When we just convene like this, we've made good friends, you know, even over the seas. But look, I was just going to ask, turn it around. I don't know what the revenue implications are. I only know that in America it happens so often that it just becomes kind of, kind of a back seat. And I don't want that happening, but maybe you could elaborate more. Like, Dan, you can explain what is it? How much does it really mean? Like in you know what I mean?
Well, it depends on just like in American sports, Ed. It depends on the sponsor and how long the deal is and how much are they willing to give us. You know, when the Emirates
10 million a year, wasn't it? I think that's what
10 million a year would still be 10 million a year in PSR numbers means 50 million because you get to use that 10 million amortized every year for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, guys. You know,
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is,
the Mercedes paid quite a lot for that Atlanta Stadium.
Exactly. Yep. Same thing.
So
You know, the stadium in DC was FedEx Field. I can't remember what it is now, but Ed's right. I mean, the name changes on the stadium. AT&T Park when the San Francisco Giants moved into that, it's now Oracle Park because Larry Ellison decided he needed to pay more money for
You got
it.
the
even though
the FedEx Forum, I think you're talking about.
Exactly. You know, and then we got Chase. We have the Chase Arena in downtown San Francisco that the Golden State Warriors play in. I mean, they're always going to change because the vendors are going to change, the sponsors are going to change. The fact of the matter is, if you want money, you have to sell those naming rights. We can be obstinate and be romantic and overly possessive and just say, no, I don't want that. But we're going to be left behind when everybody else is making money hand over fist. I hate to put it in those terms, but that's the reality of the business today.
Makes sense. Right.
And it could always be St. James's Park.
Yeah.
You know, is the Camp Nou sponsored by somebody? Is there a naming right on the Camp Nou?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're going to go Spotify.
They sell their arseholes them to get naming rights about the road.
Exactly.
Like literally, they'll sell out to get more.
Exactly.
I mean, they couldn't think of a name.
Oh,
at
man.
Camp Nou just means a new stadium in Catalan. I mean, they couldn't even think of a name.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Right, we've got one more debate before we go, and it's a good question from Choppy. I saved it from earlier. To the panel and those in the comments, does everyone think there's a plot by the other Premier League clubs not to deal with Newcastle unless really necessary? So the likes of the big teams not selling their players to us. It's a great question. We've got an aye, we've got a disagree, we've got a disagree. Sparky. Agree. Right, Sparky, start with you. You agree? Why do you think the other teams in the Premier League
to be totally honest, I mean, to be totally honest, just I don't know if we've really entertained the Premier League lately. I mean, we haven't really shopped in 3 seasons, but from what we've seen on the tabloids and like obviously the hardballs of the negotiation, like the Pedro situation and stuff like that, and how long like even Burnley with the Jack Butland situation, James Trafford situation, there, it just seems to be like dragging the feet in, putting in the Saudi tax, extra like 10, 20 millions and stuff like that. So I think they're trying to pull the pants down and spank the lads.
Yeah, fair point. Ed?
Yeah, let me just ask Sparky. So is it clear like why, like, you know, it's very clear that people in the past have had issues kind of like sticking their nose up at the north, but is it more of like now they're sticking their nose up because we got tons of money, and it's just going to be like, you know, this bias, or do they have a fair say, like, you know, we are definitely going to be threatening for titles for 10 years. And so why don't we just start protecting ourselves? It's a very complicated question. I like the question, but it could impact their business. How would it impact them negatively, I wonder?
Mm-hmm.
So to be totally honest, they still look for that London effect, don't they? Like that João Pedro, he was drawn towards London. But at the end of the day, why wouldn't you want to come and live in the northeast? It's the best place in the world, man. You know what I mean? We've got everything within a 20-mile radius, from beaches, nature, like city life, business life. Like
he's gone into work mode.
Oh, there ain't no point like a Jordan party. I'm telling you. So, like, obviously, anybody in the world that's listening, come to the northeast, come and explore it, get a Geordieland experience in you, and we'll sort you as clean as.
I love it. Charles.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
You couldn't. Charles, your boy.
Listen, I mean, it's a good question, by the way, but I think there are a few clubs that will not deal with us, and they don't want to deal with us and see it's a threat. So I think you've probably got to take about half the Premier League. There are some clubs that will deal with us. As for this Northeast versus London bollocks, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I think, you know, the bottom line is, you know, Chelsea are paying more, and it's a 7-year contract. Yeah, of course, they've got to look after themselves. They don't know when the next injuries are coming.
They paid the fee that Brighton wanted, haven't they? We weren't.
Exactly, and it's a 7-year contract.
Yeah,
at a decent salary. So yeah, he's set for life. So I don't think it's a question of whether he wants to go to Riley's Fish Shack or Tiger. You know,
get to Idols.
Or for your eyes only. Get it for your eyes only.
Yeah, this London story is a load of bollocks. You know, whether London or the northeast of England, it's you know, it's money at the end of the day. It's a short career. They could have an injury. Who knows? You know, and if someone's going to dangle a 7-year contract in front of them where it could pay, they'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Dan.
I don't think there's a conspiracy theory. I don't think it's an us versus the top 6 cartel. I don't think it's the fact that I don't think other Premier League teams don't want to do business with us. I think it comes down to we don't have somebody who's adept at negotiating. I think we are trying to haggle still because we're trying to get the most bang for our buck with every single transfer. And other teams are just throwing the fucking money at it. You know, like Charles said, you know, it's you give good wages Yeah, we weren't ever going to go in for Embuemo if he wanted to quadruple what he was getting at Brentford. It just wasn't going to happen. You know, we
Disgusting
we
that
didn't
though.
we didn't want to destroy our wage structure in order to satisfy one guy. Now that said, we look like we're going to have to for Isak, but at the same time, Isak's not making waves about it. He's not, as far as we're concerned, not in the public eye saying, I want to leave unless they give me a raise. I think
Yeah.
everybody's expecting him to get a raise. I
And,
just think
and he's a guy that you're going to lose for 5 or 6 weeks in December and January.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep. No, I don't think that we are willing to stump up as quickly as other clubs are, and quite frankly, if we show any interest in anybody, all of a sudden everybody's interested in that player. And I think I just think we're still in that mode where we're being, what is it? Penny smart, pound foolish. Is that what
Yeah.
what it is? I think we're not quick to the trigger. I think we're, and I think that's bit us in the butt. Paul Mitchell said we overpaid for Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento, and look at what those two have done for us. My feelings are, I think we're missing that. We're missing the Amanda and Mehrdad voice in the boardroom right now, where they're just saying, we're not going to pay it, but we're going to strong arm. We're going to strong arm them. I mean, Everton wanted 50 million for Anthony Gordon. We weren't going to pay a dime over 45, and we knew that he was being run out of town by his own fans. So, Everton wasn't in a position to hold us over a barrel. We're being held over a barrel because we don't want to pay what people are asking. That's it.
Which is, well, yeah. Gas.
Well, I don't think there's a Newcastle tax. I don't think that's it. I don't think
Yeah, I agree.
anybody's adding an extra 10, 15, 20 million to a player's value simply
Yeah.
because it's us. Because
I
look
agree.
at João Pedro. They wanted 60 million for him. We weren't
Yeah.
willing. We offered 50. Chelsea offered 55.
Yeah.
Look, they took the higher bidder. That's it.
Yeah. No. And yeah, it's spot on. Gaz.
There's definitely something, right? But I think they're using the media. I've seen some really strange stories the last couple of days, like Xavi Simons he wants to come to the Premier League, but he's not interested in Newcastle. And he mentioned the other several clubs, it's just Newcastle. I think they're putting stuff in the media, but if we went in for a bid tomorrow for Garnacho for 60 million, Man United accepted. If we went for 70 million for Darwin Núñez, it gets accepted. I think these clubs will still deal with it. I think they'll try to get as much money out as worth they can, but I definitely think that we're looking right now when we're a bit paid off with the way we're moving and how slow we're moving. But these clubs, I think, are still a bit wary of it. And the negativity in the press the last week is strange. It's really strange and bizarre, and I've noticed it the last couple of days. But as for the clubs dealing with in the Premier League, I think they're all greedy buggers, and I think they'll all deal with them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If they want rid of a player, they'll sell him. If City want rid of Grealish, how much? Oh, yeah, you can have him. Yeah. I don't think there's a major conspiracy. I don't think there's a Saudi tax or a Newcastle tax. I mean, how can there be a Newcastle tax? Newcastle haven't spent out for 2 years. Surely the clubs are cottoning onto it now that we're frigging useless in the transfer market. So they must, if there's going to be a tax anywhere, they're going to go to Man City. And I tell you what, if you're going to add tax to anybody, go straight to Jim Ratcliffe and Man United and demand millions of them buggers.
Well, Chelsea as well.
Chelsea as well. There's no Saudi tax or Newcastle tax anymore. I bet Newcastle are playing on that. I think the owners are probably putting it out there. The journalists sort rubbish. But as for dealing with other clubs, they'll 100% deal with it.
Yeah. Dan?
I just want to add, if there are players who are interested in coming to the Premier League but aren't interested in coming to Newcastle, either because of its geographical location or whatever, we need to be putting some of the goodwill that we've got in all of our former players, all those players that you just saw in that third kit launch. Get them on the horn, get them on the phone. If If you speak Spanish, by God, you should be talking to Jonas Gutierrez. Let him sell the club to you.
Yeah, we tried
Not
that
ev-
with Ekiteke, didn't we?
I don't think Newcastle needs selling. I think it's a lot of nonsense. I think it's a bit of an inferiority complex. A lot of people from Newcastle have. I don't think that is the case. And you get people like that guy from the Aston Villa fan. I can't remember the guy in TalkSport. Useless
Aston Villa
footballer.
fan. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
his fucking name?
Talking absolute rubbish. It's not a hard sell. It's not a hard sell. But at the end of the day,
I wouldn't think so.
It's a short career. If you get offered a lot of money and you've got a long career, a long contract, you'll take it. And why else would people go to Saudi, for example?
Yeah,
Right.
I get what you're saying, but it is still a sell to come to Newcastle for some players who have never been to Newcastle.
I honestly don't.
But it is because I've already given you an example. Ekiteke was not sure about coming to Newcastle, so David Ginola got on the phone to him and said, "You need to go to Newcastle," and he still turned us down because
But he was
young.
He was a prat.
No, but
You know,
in the end, he was.
And went to Paris Saint-Germain, and they couldn't stand him. All the players couldn't stand the guy because he's a, I don't know, I can't use it. This is a family show. but
I think it's
But
I
there
think
are
it
examples
depends.
out there, though. That if a foreign player's never been to Newcastle and they look at it and go, "Yeah, the football looks good, the playing looks good. Weather's cold. Would I rather be in London?" Most of them would rather be in London. But if, like Dan said, if you get the ex-players who have been here, who love it here, who want to sell the club, get them on the phone to the guys. It's not. It won't be a difficult sell when you've got David Ginola on the other line, or you've got, who else have we had who's an amazing foreigner? Tino Livramento. Can you imagine him speaking to anyone Colombian? He'd sell them. Norberto Solano to anyone who's been that far wide.
Do you know who wipes the floor with every one of them when it comes to Newcastle and loving this football club? Was a guy who originally wasn't sure about coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he made that move, and now that man would literally die for this football club now, and that's Bruno Guimaraes.
Bruno, aye, you're right.
That man loves this football club with a passion. Nobody loves this football club more than that bloke right now. Not even.
Agreed.
He's up there with Dan Burn. What
Agreed.
I think he passionately feels about this football club.
Agreed.
But not every players want to come here. But getting in the Champions League, these players experience this. So PSG experienced this. So your Colin Warnies and your Gonzalo Ramoses might look and go, "Oh, I remember playing there a year ago, and bloody hell, it was hostile. Like, I remember it now." Whereas some players don't know. But they will. The more and more discover it as they're in the Champions League. But
I don't buy it. Newcastle is not a hard sell. It's not a hard
no,
sell.
I agree. I don't think Newcastle is hard sell. I think you're right.
Of course it's not, because we love the football club, but we're talking about people who have never supported Newcastle.
But it's not just a football club. It's a nice area to live. It's a good place for
but
family. I mean,
we know
The
that
Premier
these
League's a
players
weapon.
have never stepped their foot off a plane in Newcastle, so you've got to sell it to those players.
Well,
You've got
but
to remember,
Baz,
these players are earning thousands and thousands of pounds a week. You want to go to the big city lights. A lot of them might want to jump on a plane to America.
But to Charles's point, if we're going to offer 75, 80,000 a week, and Chelsea's going to offer 120,000 a week, well, they're going to Chelsea.
exactly.
Yeah, because again. But like I said, there are players out there who won't come to Newcastle because of where they are geographically. It is a thing. Look at Rob Lee. Rob Lee was not going to leave his home in Charlton. He wanted to be as close to his parents as he could, and Kevin Keegan had to lie to him to tell him that Newcastle was closer to London than Middlesbrough was. So there you go.
Well, he didn't have Google Maps back then.
And they didn't have Google Maps. They didn't know anything. So there you go. It does need to happen sometimes. Liam, sorry, mate. You waited patiently. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's bullshit. I think we're just not putting in enough money. That's the simple. And obviously, you've got the likes of Chelsea going in, giving stupid, massive contracts.
You're talking sense, Liam. You're talking sense.
We're just, we haven't got anybody at the minute that can do a deal. It's pretty clear.
The thing with Chelsea's contracts, they're not massively paid contracts. They're just massive
Security, isn't it?
job security. That is the thing. So we could have offered a kid 150,000 a week, but a 4-year deal. Chelsea will say, well, we'll give you 100 grand a week, but we'll give you a 7-year deal. You're going to take the 7-year deal.
You're set for life, Baz.
Yeah, I know you are. You're set for a career where you can sit on the bench and earn more than what any normal footballer could earn on a 4-year contract.
To not want to come to Newcastle in the current state that we're in. That's probably wrong word. In the current form that we're in, sorry, not state. Is I just don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, there was when we first got took over. There was a lot of people who weren't willing to do business with us. I do agree with it. When we first got took over, the first 2 transfer windows.
Sorry, Baz, they were better then at buying players.
Yeah, we were. Yeah,
they were actually better in the beginning of the takeover buying players. That's it now. They're shite. Honestly, they're absolutely shite, and they need to kick up their arse. I know I'm getting off subject here, but yeah, not every one player's going to want to come to North East. I get that, but bloody hell.
Get them on the back.
Us trying to bloody persuade them to come these days.
We just need more Mandy. Goes back to what were the first thing we asked about. We just need more Mandy back, don't we?
I would love her back. And then there's some people on Twitter who wouldn't want her back, which I still don't believe, but I would go.
Look, I don't know how true this is, right? But I've heard that Amanda Staveley had major contacts in the game, right? I don't know how she had this, right? But you get on the phone to somebody in a heartbeat, and then before you know it, you are doing a deal. We haven't got that now.
Nope.
We haven't got these contacts. I don't know what she was doing. Maybe it was agents. Maybe she had contacts to agents.
Wasn't it to do with all the stuff that obviously she brokered the Man City deal as well, didn't she?
Yeah. So she knew contacts. Yeah. Now we haven't got those contacts. And you've got people sitting in a room, like talking and going, right, what are we doing now? Because we haven't got to direct our football. We need to direct our football now. We need him tomorrow. Whoever that man is, we need him in tomorrow.
It's weird. At Eels, it was announced that he was ill and he was going out like almost a year ago, and we still haven't got anybody announced. Is that weird?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Apparently, Mitchell was going to leave in March. It was all decided in March. This came from, I think it was Hope. I can't remember, but it was decided in March he was leaving. So why is it taking them so long to replace these people? It's like not only are they slow on transfers, they're slow in the staff as well. It's just everything is just.
Everything needs signed off by the big guy. The big guy's in Saudi. You can't get a hold of them. They're making decisions are so slow because that chain.
But there's no lack of passion. I mean, you see, Al Ramayan, he absolutely loves it. There's no doubt about it. You know,
he does love it.
He absolutely loves it. But
he's the one who's going to take the flak eventually, because the way things are going, if things don't improve, it's got to fall on his head, not on Eddie Howe's head, not on anybody else's head. The guy at the top needs to take the flak for not letting this club run as fast as it should do, because we haven't got the right people in. They've made poor mistakes. They've also had a few things go against them which should not. You know, the Dan Ashworth saga was just ridiculous.
We're complaining, but like 3.5 seasons ago, we were almost relegated, and we've made the Champions League twice, and we won the League Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're complaining and we're having the best run of our life, really, aren't we? It's crazy. But this is what happens. We all want the best for our football club. It's as simple as that.
Well, we just don't want injury after injury after injury next season.
Well, we've sorted that with Bonds. Hopefully that'll improve. But again, it's not going to improve if we haven't got the squad and the depth to be able to cope with these extra 10 games a season. And that's if you don't qualify for the next round. You've got a guaranteed 10 games in the Champions League. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. It's been an absolute fantastic show. I thank you all for coming on. Ed, you were brilliant. Thank you. Charles, as always. Sparky, brilliant. Gaz, Dan, Liam, always fantastic as always. I hope you guys in the chat have enjoyed it and we've answered the questions nicely and opinions. Again, remember.
I love that, you know, Dan. I love that, you know.
Some
Bring
people say.
The boys.
Some people say opinions are like arseholes. We've all got one. We've just proved it tonight. So there you go, guys. We've enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon. Take care.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye, all. See you lads. See you lads.